I want to talk about something that may sound healthy, but is actually a trap. A lot of us have been taught that being composed means we are calm and regulated. We were raised being told to stop crying or they'd give us something to cry about. Who knew it was the housing market, right? Or told to man up and shove it down and put a smile on. So now, as adults, when we feel anxious or upset, we try to calm down by pushing those uncomfortable feelings away. When we feel irritated, we scold ourselves for feeling that way in the first place. Or when we feel overwhelmed, we try to think our way out of the mountain of tasks or issues in front of us. We try to manage the state. But the truth is, forcing calm doesn't create calm. It creates pressure. And our nervous systems do not respond to pressure in a way that brings calm, but instead, it brings more activation. Hello, friend, and welcome to Torches, Yoga and Mindfulness. I'm Lauren, and I'll be your coach. If you are curious about mindfulness, healing, and practical habits that actually work, you're in the right place because here we focus on simple but powerful practices grounded in ancient wisdom and modern science to care for both our minds and bodies. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Can we normalize survival mode for a second? Because we all experience it, or we wouldn't even be here today. Survival can look like anxiety, overthinking, shutting down, irritability, and exhaustion. These are not personality flaws or diagnoses. They are adaptive responses. Our systems are doing what it was designed to do, protect us. With mindfulness and healing, we aren't trying to erase these responses from our lives. That's not realistic. Activation is part of being a human. What we are building is the ability to move through activation without getting stuck in it. That is regulation. But there is a very subtle difference between moving through activation and forcing it. When we tell ourselves, I'm fine, or this really isn't that big of a deal, or even, I shouldn't even be upset, that is what is clinically referred to as top-down processing, trying to logic our way into calm. But you can't gaslight yourself into peace. Our brain thinks this makes sense. It likes to be the big hero and problem solver. But the body doesn't respond to logic, it responds to safety. Forcing calm is actually a form of suppression, and suppression signals that something needs to be fixed immediately. It's that urgency. And that urgency alone can increase our activation. Our body doesn't speak with language, so it won't just calm down because it was instructed to do so. It calms when it feels safe. But regulation doesn't always feel like calm. And this is where we have to gently untangle a myth that most of us have been living inside. Regulation doesn't mean bliss, and it doesn't mean happiness, and it doesn't mean we float through our day untouched by anything uncomfortable. If that's the standard we're using, we're going to believe we are failing constantly. Regulation is much quieter than that. Sometimes it feels like just a sigh. You'll be mid-thought, mid-frustration, and suddenly your body exhales on its own. That's not you performing calm. That's your system shifting. Sometimes it's your shoulders dropping without you having to think about it, or a yawn in the middle of a hard conversation. And even sometimes there might be tears that come without a dramatic story attached. Just a release, just energy moving. It can feel neutral and steady. Maybe you're still upset, but you're not spiraling anymore. That's regulation. Calm isn't control. It's not forcing yourself into good behavior. It is a side effect of safety. And safety in the nervous system is about capacity, not perfection. It's about having enough internal space to feel what you're feeling without it taking you over. When we understand that, we stop chasing a mood and start building resilience. So let's talk about how this all actually works, because knowing the mechanics of it can help it stop feeling so mysterious and out of reach. There are two primary ways we can influence our state, and that's top-down strategies, which are cognitive. They involve the thinking brain. That means when we are doing things like reframing our thoughts, using positive self talk, reminding ourselves of facts, or challenging our distortions, or reasoning our way through fear. These are all powerful, wonderful tools that I use and I teach. They absolutely matter. But these are top down strategies. And if we only use these, we are essentially asking the thinking part of our brain to just completely override our body. And the body doesn't like that at all. So these practices are great when they are what is needed. But when we need to move through irritation, anxiety, overthinking, or shutting down, we need something different, and that is bottom up processing. That always makes me think of a little duck in a pond diving for snacks. But anyway, of course, bottom up processing moves in the opposite direction, and it starts with our body and then moves upwards. This is our breath, sensations, awareness, gentle movement, even the tone of our voice, the pace of our speech, and our posture. At the center of all those, the reason we turn to the breath and the body and the voice is because the trigger we are hitting with those is our vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve plays a major role in helping us shift out of fight or flight and into our recovery states. It supports flexibility. It helps us move from activation and into settling, not by giving it commands, but by giving it cues. When we stimulate safety through our breath, posture, tone, or rhythm, we are speaking the body's language. And regulation isn't about staying calm all the time. That would be flat. That would be rigid. Regulation is about being able to activate and then return. You get stressed, you process it, you settle. Activation, recovery, activation, recovery. That rhythm is resilience. In the companion video I have posted alongside this one, we go deeper into what top down and bottom up processing actually look like in real life so we can stop managing ourselves like a productivity project and start supporting our systems like allies. Instead of asking, how do I calm down? We ask, what is happening right now? And that's that shift that changes everything. That question alone allows a softening. Instead of fixing, we observe. Instead of controlling, we relate. And this is why mindfulness works. Not to force a state change or because it makes us instantly serene, but because it removes the agenda to change the state. When we bring attention without an agenda, our body registers something important. It registers that it is being heard. And when the system feels heard and not managed, it softens. Not always dramatically or even immediately. Sometimes the only difference is that there is a little more space between you and the reaction. But space is regulation, choice, and capacity. So, how do we actually apply this in real life and not just in theory? No worries, I got you with 3 simple steps. First, we shift from fixing to observing. The next time you feel activated, try asking, what sensations did this bring? We're not trying to analyze the thoughts, the feelings brought, or to fix anything. We are just noticing what physical sensations showed up. Is there a tightness in your chest, heat in your cheeks, a queasiness in the stomach, or a heaviness behind your eyes? When you focus on sensations, instead of generating a story, we interrupt the escalation. We let the body move it instead of feeding it more narrative. Now, second, we're going to use the stop technique, STOP. So, S, stop. Pause even for a second or 2 counts here. Take a deep breath, just 1 deep conscious breath to ground and calm the nervous system. Observe. Notice what is happening, thoughts, emotions, sensations, and your environment without judgment. Proceed. This is where we can actively choose our next steps instead of reacting on impulse. The point is not to eliminate the feeling. The point is to slow the chain reaction. We aren't trying to suppress anything, but we are preventing it from compounding. And third, we let go of the agenda to be calm. Being present doesn't mean our problems disappear or that we are never bothered or always happy. It means we allow. allowing hard feelings without adding to the story, without acting impulsively, and without shaming ourselves for having them. That is regulation. That is what builds resilience. It's in those little moments where our nervous systems learn that hard things can happen, we can feel them, and we can still be safe. That learning is what expands our capacity over time. So this month, we have been talking about discernment. And discernment isn't just about how our decisions that are out there in the world. It's about noticing what's happening in here too. Like noticing, am I trying to control my state or am I listening to it? Am I managing myself like a problem or a project, or am I relating to myself like I'm human, living this life for the first time? Forcing calm is management, and regulation is a relationship, and that relationship builds resilience. I will leave you with this, friend. Calm is not something we chase down and wrestle into place. It's something that happens when safety is present. So this week, just notice, where are you trying to force calm or manage the moment? Where is there tightening around your own experience? And what shifts when you stop forcing? If you want to understand more about how to work with both the thinking brain and the body, instead of accidentally putting them at odds with each other, make sure to check out the other video I have posted this week where we talk about top down versus bottom up processing, because when we can understand how our system is working, we stop fighting it, and that changes everything. Friend, thank you so much for sharing a piece of your day with me. Stay present, stay kind to yourself, and I will see you soon.